Dawaj. Jak mamy grać w Last Epocha, to dawaj, odpalamy 5 starterów. 2 godziny temu, ale świeże w ogóle. Dobra, 15 minut, let's go.
Hello.
Nie wiem, nie mam pojęcia czym zagrać. Wy macie jakieś piki? Ja widziałem, że jest ten Guided Arrow. Jest zrobiony tak samo jak w PD2 i mi się to bardzo podoba, bo to będzie nakierowało się na przeciwnika, przebijało go i się odbijało w zależności od tego, jaką będzie się miał szansę na przebicie. Ja pamiętam, to wprowadzili w projekcie Diablo 2 i to było absurdalnie broken, no nie? Jak tam były jakieś takie on-hit efekty, które się nakładały, to tam się jaja działy z matematyką, no nie? Więc to było super. Myślę nad tym, ale też mi się podoba strasznie ten paladin taki mroczny, on się Void Knight nazywa?
This is Dread, and in today's
Chcecie
video
napisy?
topic, this is
Pewnie
going to be
chcecie.
my top 5 recommended builds for patch 1.2, Tombs of the Erased. So I just want to start out with a few disclaimers. First things off, we have no idea what kind of content the new patch is going to have, so you know it might be a little bit different than what you're seeing in these
Patrz ile
videos.
tokenów jest
Also as well,
nakładanych na
none of
boście,
these
co
builds are
jest?
meant to
A
like
to jest
do Uber
warlock,
Aberroth,
warlock pod
mind you.
fissura
Like,
nudny.
I
Nie
did not
chcę
plan
tym grać,
any
grałem
of
w
these to
tym.
do Uber
Strasznie
Aberroth.
nudny build.
I did a very large amount
Ej, nie
of
można
solo
być
character
napisów,
found
wiecie?
testing,
Da się
a lot
przesuwać,
of
dobra.
league start testing. So I took characters from level 1 in solo character found with no gear or anything like that and pushed
Nie,
them all the
fissure
way to
odpada.
300 corruption.
Ja nie
in
gram w
their
ogóle
10
chyba
out of 10
akolitką
Harbinger
teraz.
runs. All
Wszystkim
of them
zagrałem
did
z
it, except for
akolitki
the
i
last
nic
one, which we
ciekawego
talked
nie
about.
było.
But pretty much the idea is these characters worked off no gear, leveled by themselves, got all the way
Okej,
to the 10
tylko
out
na
of 10
levelach.
Harbingers without too much difficulty or problems, and these are perfect league starters. Now,
Dobra,
the idea with these
startery.
builds is they are meant to get you to like 300 corruption. They're meant to get you farming, and they're meant to either you keep playing them and you refine them yourself and figure out what you want to play, or they're meant to swap off and play something else if you find something else that's more interesting, right? So that's the whole point of these builds. They're not meant to take on Uber Aberroth. They're not meant to do anything like that. They're just simply meant to get from level 1 to 300 in the comfiest way possible. So, with all that being
Comfy.
said, let's talk about it, shall we? Now, if you haven't already, I would heavily suggest leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel.
Jezu,
We're
jaki
almost at
giga długi
30,000
wstęp,
subs, guys.
dopamina
We're
mi
doing
spadła po
absolutely
tych Dark
amazing.
Soulsach, takich
Thank you so much
szybkich.
for all of the support. It's made the last 6 months just amazing, considering, you know, I've been putting so much work and effort into this. So, thank you guys. Now, let's talk about the build, shall we?
No
So
dawaj.
the first build we're going to be talking about right out of the gate is going to be the winner chicken dinner, and that is going to be Chthonic Fissure Infernal Shade Warlock.
Nie, to nudy.
Out of all of these
Znaczy to
zero
fajnie
to hero
wygląda,
builds currently
ale to
that I
jest nudne
played,
do grania
this
imo.
has to be one of the most explosive and entertaining builds I've ever played.
Nakładasz
Now, there are
klątwę,
some other builds I quote
dwie
unquote
czaszki
rate
na
higher than
target,
it in
nie?
terms of the 10 out of 10 Harbinger
Fissure.
grind, like for
O
instance
nie,
Bleed
nudy.
Hail of Arrows
Nie, nawet
Marksman.
jedną chyba
But
czaszkę, drugą
You really
spamujesz,
can't
jak
go
Fissure
wrong
działa.
with Infernal Shade. Infernal Shade just has gotten a lot better. So if you don't know how it works, the idea is we cast a brand on the target, and then that brand is reduced in duration thanks to Chthonic Fissure, and then it explodes and it applies ailments. And the idea is we apply a very large amount of ailments. We don't really care what kind of
Kurwa, ile to
ailments
jest
they are,
tokenów.
because we
Stary, 300 blida, no nie? 70 poisona,
run a
faktycznie.
lot of generic damage over time scaling, because a lot of the nodes inside Infernal Shade's tree and Warlock's tree are all generic. They have generic damage over time. And of course, Warlock also has access to a lot of ailment chance, which means, of course, we can focus hella hard into Ignite chance, into Damn chance, into Bleed chance. It's amazing. And it's just amazing watching that counter go up and see how many ailments you can actually apply to an enemy. It's very entertaining. Now, the thing is though, with this build, there's one caveat. They did nerf the Spirit Plague ward on hit node. So you'll be watching me like do
Spirytów
monoliths
nie
and stuff
tra-
like that
Ale
and
to
do
też masz,
bosses,
kurwa,
and I'll be at
3000
like 3 to
spirytu jak
4k
bije.
ward. It's not going to be like that anymore. I'm going to maybe at most be at 2k ward at most situations, but that's fine because they buff the absolute crap out of HP. So the defenses on this build are mainly focused around being a hybrid setup. The idea is
Nie,
we
patrz,
run
szyszka stary warda ma.
HP and ward at the same time, and we sustain both through leech and through ward gained on hit and stuff
Nie,
like that.
porządnie wygląda
and
ten
ward
build,
per
ale
second
to jest coś
to
co
allow
było,
us
nie?
to, you
Nie, ja
know,
nie chcę z
build
tym grać na
chomp.
pewno.
And pretty much This build, this version technically got nerfed,
Chciałem
but the
przejść
new
DS1, no
version
to gratulacje,
like, is
widzu.
just as good. You just build more HP than you did before, and it's like pretty much the same exact build. Nothing changed whatsoever. So now the link for this build will be in the description. The whole level 1 all the way to 10 out of 10 harbingers is in the description. Now the planer isn't going to be updated for next patch, but like it didn't really change that much. All you have to do is just simply like read some nodes and change them. Like I don't think that there was any specific node that changed on this specific build. So have fun with this one, guys. This one's really fun. I love it so much. All right, the number 2 build on this list is going to be Bleed, Hail of Arrows Marksman. So
Toxic rain,
I know a
dosłownie.
lot of people are excited to play Heartseeker, but if Heartseeker ends up being bad for some reason, right? Or if like you don't like the pew pew
Kurwa,
playstyle,
to
you
wygląda
like
jak
more combo rogue
damage
playstyle,
miało
and you
jakiś
want a smooth
strasznie
10 out of 10
przedłużony.
Harbinger run, and
Na
then
blizie
mess
w sumie.
around with
Nie
Heartseeker,
wygląda dobrze.
this is the build for you. The idea here is we're building around Sanguine Horde. This makes it
Nakładasz
so that
blida,
our
ale te
bleed
moby
chance
cię
per
dogonić
second
zdążą.
applies
One
to
będą
heal of
szybsze w
arrows,
ogóle teraz
which
na tym
means
patchu.
that we can scale bleed infinitum. Now, I spent about, I think, all the way to level
Ale
80
nieskończone
without getting the
skalowanie
quiver
blida brzmi dobrze
with
na
this build.
bossy.
So if you're worried like, oh, you need a mandatory unique, no, it's not that big of a deal.
A to może
I
być
spent
dobre
all
na
the way to
starter w
level
sumie.
80 until I got the quiver, just to make sure that the build functioned without the quiver, right? And the quiver actually is really common, actually. Like, it's actually absurdly common. It's just like, you know, you could get cucked and like, you know, you could spend a while without it. But of course, as well, let's be real, you could always swap over to Heartseeker. It's not like as if Heartseeker's bad or
No.
anything, right? So
No, to fajna
that'll be
sprawa.
interesting. The main reason that I
zagrać
love this build so much
Może być
is
dobrym właśnie
because
starterem przed
it won
Heartseekerem.
every single metric for the Zero to Hero series, right? I leveled it from level 1 all the way to
Ale
you
ja
know, 10 out of 10
nienawidzę
Harbingers.
zdelayowego
It was
damage'a w
super
takim
comfy.
slashu.
It did lots of damage.
Ja się
It
Dota
had
jeszcze
pretty good
okej, ale to ta
survivability
Dota
for a
to
marksman,
ma
which is getting buffed next
giga
patch, mind
szybko
you.
tikować.
And it had really good speed in monoliths.
A tu
The
to bez
only
kitu chyba
problem
musisz
is you have to
poczekać
use
z 2
Dark
sekundy, aż
Quiver
ona
and
się
the
nałoży
combo
i z
on
2
bosses,
sekundy aż
which I explained
zabije.
in the video.
Oj
That
nie,
is
nie
the only
wygląda
thing.
dobrze.
That is literally the only problem you have to deal with is the Dark Quiver combo. So,
Pokaż
like,
właśnie na
if you're
bossie.
okay with doing a slight tongue-in-cheek
70
dance
smaku?
on bosses to kill them quicker,
90, 100.
you're fine. This is a great build for you. But of course, in the Monolith of Fate,
Bleed
you don't have to
i
actually
Poison
do
miał
it that
stały
often.
damage w Last Epochu,
Like the
nie?
combo. So, like,
Nie wygląda
you know,
super.
it's only for bosses when you have to do the combo. But other than that, it's a very
Jeszcze jakiś combo
comfortable
na bossach.
playstyle, especially thanks to all of the leech that we have access to, and of course the bleed on kill eventually when you get a Valdir's Chalice as well. Very comfortable build, very comfortable playstyle. Literally takes the cake for me out of like one of the best Zero to Hero runs I've ever done on the channel after doing like 24 of them. Yeah, it's a great build. Link will be in the description below
odpada.
as well. All right, so the third build on this list is going to be Tornado Werebear. I've had a lot of people ask me, hey Dread, is Tornado Werebear bad now?
Kurwa, jaki
Did
damage!
Tornado Werebear get nerfed? This build has just taken the community by storm, no pun intended. Like, literally, so many people love this build now, and it was all on accident. Like, this build wasn't even meant to be a
Kurwa,
build.
co się
Like,
dzieje?
it was a shit post because my friend and I were talking about how, hey,
Strasznie mi się to nie
like,
podoba w Last Epochu. Ile razy ci przeciwnicy tego shielda odzyskują? To jest taki gówniany design.
transform into werebear form after, cast a bunch of tornadoes on the ground, Wouldn't that be kind of funny? And then we tried it. And then we were like, what the fuck? What's this damage? And that's how we ended up with this build.
To na czym polega ten build? Wrzucasz tornado, zmieniasz się w niedźwiedzia i nagle cię boostuje damage od
And it's gone
tornada?
through a lot of refinements over the past few months, and I even did probably one of the strongest Zero to Hero
Chyba
leveling
tak.
runs I've ever done, as you can see the damage on screen. And it scaled all the way into endgame. It's one of the faster boss killers that I've been playing. Now, of course, you can take this all the way to Aberoth. I don't know if you could take it to Uber Aberoth. I'm not entirely sure, because we don't know what Uber Aberoth is like.
Nie no, to
But
totalnie
there
pali
have been
bossów.
some people that have
Ale
taken
ten
this all the
damage
way
na
to
takich
Aberoth. and it's been
downtime'ach
great.
pasuje.
Some people have been taking it to
Bazuje.
like 1,000
Nie leży
corruption.
mi.
If you just want to play
Nie
Tornado
wygląda to na
Werebear
stały
and
damage.
that's your shtick, here you go.
Pytanie, jak to mapy
It's
też
still
czyści.
good. It didn't get nerfed. It technically got buffed. The mana cost on Tornado actually got buffed, and HP got buffed
Nie,
in
dobra,
general. So you're
starych
gonna
mapy
end up
to
with way
robi.
more HP than you see in these videos.
O Jezu,
right?
kurwa. Twój
Yeah,
tornadosów się
this build's
zmieni.
great.
Znaczy,
I
to chyba
really,
jakiś
I don't know,
wysoki
man.
poziom
If you like
mapy.
the combo playstyle, if you like doing a lot of damage for, you know, your
No,
effort,
wydżusowana
it's
mapa,
great.
3
If you
Starari,
don't like
300
the
expa,
combo
ale
playstyle
skill.
where you press a bunch of buttons to
A nie
do
widać tu
damage,
eye
you
levela,
will not
nie?
like this
Mapy.
build.
Aria,
But it
levela,
does
nie ma.
auto aim for you, which is nice when you're going through monoliths. So like if you're okay with like turning your brain off and doing a small tidbit of a combo
Nie.
every single time, you
Zbyt
know, you wanna
combo
do
based,
stuff,
nie?
it will aim for you. It will kill bosses for you. Pretty much the idea here is you're not really fighting the enemies, you're fighting your own
A jest,
willingness
Aria
to do
level
the
100,
combo.
faktycznie,
So
tam
if you're
patrzę.
okay with that,
Nie widziałem
this
tego,
build
no.
is for you. The link will be down in the description as well. The next build on this list is going to be Erasing Strike Void Knight. So the version of Erasing
Void
Strike
Knight
that I ended up
podszarże.
playing
O,
is
to już
a
fajnie
dual
czyści.
wielding build that is
A
meant
jak Dual
to
Strike
be
to się
as
Dual
comfy
Strike
as
nazywało?
possible,
To
as
takie
early
niebieskie
on as
efekty się tak
possible.
cięło z góry?
The idea of this build is to simply take this character, right, level it, and then swap into World Splitter later. Okay, that's the whole point of this, because
To build
I
dla
can't
Lanela.
recommend just playing World Splitter on day one, because playing
Multi-strike,
World Splitter
może
requires
multi-strike?
a decent amount of gear to play, while this build takes almost no gear to play, and it's gotten buffed immensely. Not only did one node in, you know, like what is it called, Racing Strike's tree turn into a 40% more damage multiplier for the build, which didn't exist there
Ja
before.
słyszałem, że ten
Void
Void Knight jest
essences
strasznym
now
glass
give you
canonem,
like
to prawda?
more damage now instead, like 18% more damage if I'm not mistaken. You also have
Nie,
base
też bym
crit
wolał
at the
te
top of the
kulki.
tree. You also have like so
Zbyt
many
dużo
new
klikania,
nodes
zbyt
that
mała
do so much damage.
automatyzacji.
I will make sure to update the planner on this one, because this is the only build on this list that has gotten significant passive tree changes. I will make sure to make an update on this, by the way, in the description if you're curious about that. So if you
Nie,
want
to ja
that,
chyba
it'll
pod
be
te
down
kulki
below.
bym wolał.
But pretty much,
A też nikt tego
this
nie może
build,
stosować,
the
nie?
moment I got to level 40 and I respec'd into it,
HP
it
dostał do
was
tego buffa.
absolutely
No ale
amazing
Ward, nie?
all the
Stracił,
way
także
through.
te buildy, które
And
bazowały
it's
na Wardzie,
exactly
będą
what I
słabsze.
want when I want a
A
melee
te na
build.
HP
Like when I think
na
melee
HP
build
baza, okej.
in Last Epoch and a good melee build, this is the build that I want.
Nie, melee
So,
buildy w hack and slashach
have fun.
do
It's
wyjebania.
been buffed.
No chyba, że
You're gonna
tylko
have more
flicker.
HP as well.
Ej, ale
Have
ten
fun
ward
with it.
to jest
Of course,
taki
you know,
głupi, po co
either
są
you
te
can keep
wardy
playing
cały
this
czas na
version
życiu tego
and
przeciwnika?
do a lot of damage,
Czemu nie
or
może
you
mieć
can
po
swap
prostu
into
więcej
World Splitter
życia
and
procentowo,
clear the
żebyś
entire
widział na
screen
jakim
every
jesteś
single time you
etapie?
click a button. So
Tylko się randomowo
you know.
ward nabija.
like I said, this is just meant to get your 10 out of 10 Harbinger run and start farming for World Splitters. So link will be down in the description below. Now, unfortunately, the last build on this list is an experimental league starter that I plan on league starting. It's Lightning Fissure Smite Paladin. Now, the footage in the background is not what you're going to be playing, by the way. It's just going to be some generic footage, but the video that I'll be linking down below will explain this build. The idea is we're using the new fissure, the newly buffed and fixed fissure, to do copious amounts of damage over time to enemies with smite. If you are a self-cast smite enjoyer, if you like the idea of being like a paladin, calling down lightning and, you know, putting goopy ground on the ground, right, and deal a bunch of damage, this is
To nie
going to
było
be the
na
build for you,
pokazie
and it's
tego
going to be the build that I league start, right? Hopefully
patcha
they
pokazane.
fix all the
Chyba
bugs.
było, nie? Te
Hopefully it's
smajty.
working, but
Takie
Paladin
słupy
looks
światła, nie? Z
really
góry
cool
lecą.
next patch, so I'm really excited to league start Paladin, and I'm really excited to play this build. There's a lot of cool things
Dużo
going
osób
on,
hypuje
like
tego
being able
Paladyna
to
na
abuse
tego
the crit
patcha,
multi
także ja
to
chyba z
lightning
niego
damage
rezygnuję,
over time conversion
bo
at the
będzie
top
miał
of
bardzo
Paladin.
wysokie
You
koszty.
can also abuse devotion mana stacking as well. You can also abuse elemental damage over time affixes. You can just like, it'll be so
Czym ty,
nice
Lanel,
to play a
startujesz? Masz
self-cast
pomysł?
smite build that actually does giga
Ja chyba,
damage,
kurwa,
and
hardseekerem.
that's my current plan with this one. So if you want to see the updates to this build, I will be
Bo
playing it
hardseeker ma
live on
ten...
stream on Twitch, and I will be making
Hardseeker
updates
ma
on YouTube as
takie
well. Unfortunately, I can't really give you too
zapętlanie
much details
się
because the build doesn't
mechaniki
exist yet. But what I can
z
do
tym
is I can
przebiciem.
link to the leveling guide, the leveling that I'm going to follow
Dobra,
to
tu
play this
będziesz
build.
coś
I'm probably
konkretnego?
going to level with the character with like the hammer throw stuff until level 40, and then swap into Smite Fissure when I feel like I'm comfortable enough to do so.
Ej, a teraz
So
tradowanie
stay
jest
tuned
na
for that
Auction
if you
House
wanna
wiele
practice this
prostsze,
build.
nie?
do the leveling
repę
run with
się
the
chyba
hammer
fast
stuff all the
szybciej
way to
wbija.
40 and then like just redo the hammer leveling, and that'll be as much practice as you can get right now. Now, that's going to be it for this build. Like I said, very experimental, but it's something that I'm going to be playing. So whether or not it is good, I'm going to be playing it. Thank you guys for watching the video. Now,
Dobra.
these are just
Dużo nie
5
pokazał.
builds that I recommend
Ale
currently.
dobra, to jest
Of
ważna
course-
informacja dla mnie, że można sobie tym zagrać. Że jest jakiś inny build pod bleeda na bołkę. Jest coś jeszcze? Tier lista sprzed 4 dni, 5 to jest starterów. A, mech.